not that long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Did you feel celebrated on Father's Day?
I actually did. I felt very celebrated. But you know what? I didn't want to go to like the normal Father's Day dinner, the fancy restaurants, the long lines, and paying that expensive money. So I decided that I want to do something different for Father's Day, and I invited my girls, to go bowling with me. I thought it was a blast. We went bowling instead.
Yeah, it was a good call. We didn't have to wait an hour to get into a restaurant. And we had a lot of fun.
We actually did, and my girls beat me.
Just
like
relax
multiple times.
For the first time in my life, I beat him.
You beat him.
I've never
I actually wasn't going to say that part, but yeah, when I say my girls beat me, that includes my daughter, my other daughter, my wife. They all beat me, but we had a great time. But hey, you know what? Speaking of Father's Day, I just happen to have a few dad jokes for you.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, this is going to be good. Are you guys ready? I got a few dad jokes for you. Number one, here we go. Did you hear about the Lego sale?
No.
You didn't hear about the Lego sale?
Sales.
You know, in California, they have that big Lego store and that big...
Legoland.
Yeah, Legoland, right. So they were having a big sale, and guess what? They were lined up for blocks. Come on! Lined up for blocks! All right. If you didn't like that one, I got another one for you. Here you go.
Okay,
you ready?
let's try again.
Okay, so why did the man fall into the well? Why did the man fall into the well? Yeah, you know?
He wasn't very careful.
Kind of, but he couldn't see that well. Hey! Couldn't see that well. Come on, you know you love it. You know you love it, right? All right, now I'm a golfer. I love to golf.
Yes, you
My
are.
son loves to golf.
You are.
I'm not saying I'm a professional golfer by any means. I've got a lot of work to do. But do you know why the golfer takes 2 pairs of pants with him when he goes golfing? He takes 2 pairs of pants.
Why?
Well, you got to take 2 pairs of pants just in case you get a hole-in-one. Hey! A hole-in-one! You better believe it. Yeah, you better believe it.
Okay, that's enough. It's not Father's Day anymore.
Come on.
About enough of those jokes. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and help me welcome our DJ extraordinaire, K-Dizzle.
What's up, K-Dizzle? How you doing, K-Dizzle?
I'm doing good today. How are you guys?
Good.
Feeling good?
Doing great.
Hey, you actually beat me bowling.
I did. I took a picture of it for proof
You
as
took
well.
a picture
I took
of
a
it.
picture of it.
But
We made sure we got pictures.
Not only did I beat him, I broke 100, which never happens. So if that tells you what he did.
What you're saying is that you beat
broke
me.
100.
You broke 100 of this. That's a big deal. That means I didn't break 100.
You have no idea how not above 100 we usually bowl.
I know.
And he's always killing us.
I know. But whatever. We weren't golf. Hey, I got one more joke for you, K-Dizzle. Are you ready?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. What do you call a man with a rubber toe?
Oh, Roberto!
Hey! Roberto!
That's a classic.
You remember that one, right?
That's a
You remember that one. Anyway, hey guys, we have a great show for you today. We've got the music of Stephanie Foster, the worship director over at Life Church. We've got Herm Boes from the Salem Leadership Foundation joining us today, and we'll continue our discussion on triggers. So don't go away. We'll be right back right after these commercial breaks. Hey.
God, let me see through your eyes. Wanna see what you're doing, how you're moving. Let me see through your eyes. Let me see through your eyes. Let me see through your eyes. Wanna see what you're doing.
When I'm listening to a customer, my number one priority is to listen. in every moment that I'm with this customer or this client, am I doing everything that I can to look out for their best interest at the end of the day?
Just make sure they have plenty of options and they're happy with the choice that they make. It doesn't matter what we want, everything that they want is what we want to make happen.
At the end of the day, we do a walkthrough, communicate with the customer, make sure they're completely happy with what they've spent their hard-earned money for.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Straight Talk. Our first guest comes from Life Church. She's the worship pastor there. And they've just recently, her and her husband have become the lead pastors there at Life Church in West Salem. West Salem. And we're so glad to have her. She's a talented young lady. She has a heart of worship. Would you please put your hands together and help me welcome Stephanie Foster.
Swirling, swirling is the world, but steady, steady is your love. Anxious, anxious is the world, but hopeful, hopeful are you. I can't find a better vine in which to make my abode. I can't find a better soil in which to plant my heart. You're the peace that fills my soul, in the water that I drink. You're the God of greater things. I plant my trust in you. Your love grounds me, it satisfies me when the world's in upheaval. There is nothing better and nothing sweeter than to know you and be known. Your love grounds me, it satisfies me when the world's in upheaval. There's nothing better and nothing sweeter than to know you and be known. Nothing like knowing you, God, and being known. What greater privilege than to know you, God. Let me see through your eyes. Let me see through your eyes. Let me see through your eyes. I wanna see what you're doing, how you're moving. Let me see through your eyes. Let me see through your eyes. God, let me see through your eyes. I wanna see what you're doing, how you're moving. Let me see through your eyes. Let me see through your eyes. Let me see through your eyes. Wanna see what you're doing, how you're moving. I am not a victim to my circumstances. I'm planted in your love, and nothing will remove me. You didn't take me out this far just to bring me back. Fear doesn't hold me. My hope is in the Lord. My hope is in the Lord. Come on. Hope is in the Lord. My hope is in the Lord. see through your eyes. Let me see through your eyes, God. Let me see through your eyes. I wanna see what you're doing, how you're moving.
Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. It just takes us to church. You know, you just want to get into that presence and just hanging out there. We can do that all day. You know what
Me
I'm saying?
too. Yeah.
You too. Well, tell the viewers if they wanted to hear more of Stephanie Foster's worship, where would they go? When would they get there? How do they see you?
That's a good question. I gotta admit, Kevin, I'm a little behind the times as far as not having my music on anything.
Okay.
I do have, if you go to Life Church Salem on YouTube,
Yep. Life Church Salem.
you can listen to our music there. It's not just me, it's a bunch of our different worship leaders. But if you want to hear more, you can go there
And
for now.
What do they go live? Sundays at what time?
Sundays at 10:30.
Sundays at 10:30, Life Church. Look it up, West Salem. It's so good to have you.
Thanks
you
for having me,
so
Kevin.
much. And we've got a great show for you coming up, so don't go too far. More Straight Talk right after this. And here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
May the force be with you. May the force be with you.
What? Did you hear her?
No.
Oh my gosh. That was pretty fast. That was pretty.
We keep playing with fire, knowing it's a dangerous game. So we keep playing with fire.
With our special guest, Stephanie Foster. from
Stephanie,
Life.
yes.
And we have a special guest audience member, Cameron Truitt.
Yeah,
They
Cameron.
are here. We are teamed up and we're getting ready to play our fun segment.
All right, this is the Whisper Challenge, and here's how the game is played. Each team is going to take a turn whispering a phrase or a word to their teammate, and they have to guess what that word or phrase is, but they'll be wearing headphones with blaring music. So you won't get to hear what we're saying, you just have to guess.
Okay.
If you fail to guess within 30 seconds, you will hear this. But if you get the correct word, then you get a point and you will hear this. Yes, and that means we're going to get a point. Now, I just have
And that
to
means we won, Stephanie.
I
Yeah,
just
that
have
means
to
we
let
won.
have to let everybody know this is our 4th or 5th episode of the season, and the guys are currently undefeated. Yes, and we plan on keeping it that way. So the girls
All right,
are going
my
down.
humble husband.
and
Let's go.
Let's get started. So, all right, we're gonna let
We
the
got
ladies go first. So we're gonna get you headphoned up.
All right.
And here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
May the force be with you. May the force be with you.
What? Did you hear her?
No.
Oh my gosh, that was pretty fast. That was pretty fast. All right, Cameron's turn. Take that, Cameron. Make sure that that's
We're just
turned
gonna
up.
like that. We're
That
just
was
like
almost as
We're
fast
in
as Get
sync.
Off My Lawn from a previous episode. Ready? We got this. We got this. In 3, 2, 1. All right. Grocery outlet bargain market.
Grocery outlet, bargain market.
Yes! 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 Come on! Yes! All right. It is 1-1. We are holding our ground.
Wait, that was a card.
All right. Can you hear anything?
No.
You just
A little
heard
bit.
me.
Wait.
you try to get a different song? She don't like
Yeah,
my
that's
playlist?
better.
All right,
That's
here we
better.
go.
Okay.
All right, here we go. And it's your turn. It's 1-to-1, ladies. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
You're killing me, Small.
Yes!
Oh my God!
I didn't even know what it was.
God, I couldn't figure it
I
out.
didn't even know it. I could hear
Oh, Cameron, the pressure. The pressure is on, Cameron. The
I didn't
pressure.
know what she said.
The pressure is on. Okay.
All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wimbledon. 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 What are you saying? Welcome to Straight Talk. Yes! 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 We're still in it. We're still in it. We're still in it. We're still in it. So we have a tiebreaker now. This is it. This is it. I don't. We've actually not ever had a tiebreaker for this game, so I'm not sure what we're doing. I'm all messed up. I'm all messed up.
Okay, here, let go of that. Let go of that. Oh my goodness.
Sorry, guys.
I got excited.
I'm not sure what. I got excited. I got excited.
Epic fail.
All right, all right.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, so Stephanie's guessing again, or Stephanie's
You want
guessing
to guess
again.
or right? Okay.
In 3, 2, 1, here we go.
My dog ate my homework.
Oh my gosh, dude! Come on, bro! The pressure! The pressure!
Who's
Come
guessing?
on, Cameron, the pressure, dude. I am not convinced that they're not hearing that.
Hey, we're bringing it hard this time. Oh yeah.
Good,
Good
man.
luck.
We're undefeated.
All right.
The guys are undefeated. We gotta get
Ready?
this. All right, in 3, 2, 1.
I want to make always big cats. No making excuses. Always. Come on. Hot wings. Hot. Wish. I wish. We wish. Beatles. Queens. Hot Wheels. Behind us. Hot Wheels behind us. Hot Wheels. Big wheel. Hot Wheels. Be fast. Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels beat that!
Hot Wheels. What? Hot Wheels.
Epic fail.
What were you saying?
Hot Wheels beat that!
Oh, beat that.
It makes no sense! Why would you even have a phrase like that? Oh my goodness! Oh, well, we have been
man, that was
dethroned,
good.
everybody.
That
We've been
was so
dethroned.
awesome.
Congratulations, ladies. Congratulations. Hey,
Ladies,
but when we
take
come
it
back,
away.
we'll visit with our
Take it away,
special
the winning
guest, Herm
streak.
Boes from Salem Leadership Foundation. We got a great show for you, so stick around.
Okay.
We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, thank you so much.
I look at it as if God was just opening up opportunities
Yeah.
for me to be involved. Another time I was having lunch with a pastor, and he said, have you ever been part of Rotary? And I said, no. He says, well, I'm in Rotary. You should join Rotary. So I joined the Rotary.
All right.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, that was a wonderful worship from Stephanie earlier today.
Yes,
it was
yes.
awesome.
Beautiful worship. She has such a beautiful voice.
But we have a special guest with us today, and today's guest has quite a history of making Salem great.
Yeah.
Such a history, I kind of have to read it. So let me tell you about this man.
He's a busy man.
Yes, he is. Today's guest has quite a history. He co-chaired the West Salem Neighborhood Association. He received Salem's Vern Miller Award. He was co-chair of Community Homeless Connect in Salem, Oregon. He founded and co-chaired Polk Community Connect in Dallas, Oregon. He served on and chaired Polk County Commission of Children and Families Board. He served on the Mid-Willamette Valley Community Action Agency on the executive board. He served on Salem Net Pastors Fellowship leadership team. He served as Salem Dream Center board chair. He chaired the Emergency Food and Shelter Board for Marion and Polk County. He was a pastor for 23 years in Portland and Salem. Come on, you guys. Please put your hands together for my good friend and the man, the myth, the legend, Herm Boes. How you doing, brother?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Come on, my friend. Have a seat. Have a seat. It's so good to have you.
Good.
Good to see you.
Oh, my goodness. Herm, I'm out of breath.
Where'd you find all that stuff?
I Googled it.
I Googled it.
Googled it. Herm,
That's
I
good.
mean, that is a ton of stuff.
Yes,
like,
it is.
you are...
Busy man.
It's incredible how much you did. You must be like the man of the century.
It was a lot of fun.
So over how many years was all of that? That's a lot.
10 years.
So
10
in
years.
10 years, you did all of that.
Yes.
Because that seemed like more than 10 years worth of stuff. So you were obviously overlapping a lot of that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, many of those things were all happening at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
And
it
were
wasn't
some of
one
those
after the
connected
other.
to each other? So some of them kind of worked together?
In some ways, they're all connected. Salem Leadership
Yeah.
Foundation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. They're all connected to, most all of them connected to Polk County.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that was I lived in Polk County, and that was where I wanted to serve. And so
Yeah.
they're all connected to Polk County somehow, anyway.
So
Yeah.
I'm always
Yeah.
curious how you even serve in that many capacities. Like, did you just go knocking on doors, go, hey, I'll be on your committee?
Well, it's very interesting. You know, I'm a believer, okay?
Yeah.
And what I have found out is people are looking for believers to be a part of the community
Yeah.
so that they have a say.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
One meeting, I was at a meeting, and this gal says to me, "You should go to this meeting." And I said, "Why should I?" "I think you just fit in there." Well, okay, so I went to that meeting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I ended up serving on their board.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's just, I look at it as if God was just opening up opportunities
Yeah.
Yeah.
for me to be involved. Another time I was having lunch with a pastor, and he said, "Have you ever been part of Rotary?" And I said, "No." He says, "Well, I'm in Rotary. You should join Rotary." So I joined the Rotary.
Oh, my goodness.
And over and over again, it just kind of
Yeah.
connected that
Yeah.
way.
Now, this was all while working a job?
I was working for Salem Leadership
Okay.
Foundation.
Okay.
So a lot of
you-
people would say to me, "You get paid to do this?"
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
did. And
Yeah.
they took good care of me.
That's good.
So you said most of those, or a lot of them, connected with Salem Leadership Foundation.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit more about your job with Salem
Okay.
Leadership Foundation.
Salem Leadership Foundation is all about building bridges
Okay.
in the community.
Okay.
And they have done just a super job. And so our title was a lightning rod. Okay. So I was a lightning rod in West Salem and Polk County.
Okay.
And so my job was to find out what's going on in the county
Okay.
and then look for opportunities to bring different entities together.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of them that was really fun was Salem Dream Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really fun because that we were able to connect them to the Edgewater community,
Yeah.
and we were able to connect them to Walker Middle School and different
Yeah.
things.
So you played a big part in what the Dream Center does now in West Salem.
Yes.
Wow, I was not aware of that.
The Nuestra Casa
Yeah.
that they have
Yeah.
was part of the church I used to pastor.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So you pastor that little Baptist church
Yes.
right there where
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yes, I did.
You know where he's talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
I
I
did
know
not
where that
know
is.
that.
Yeah, I did.
Incredible. Okay, so when we learned about Salem Leadership Foundation, I just wanted to give a little background because the way I was introduced to it was we came in and we started our church in a little building on Brown Road.
Okay.
And at that time, the lightning rod there connected with me. So everything I knew about Salem Leadership Foundation had to do with connecting churches to the community.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit more about what Salem Leadership Foundation does there.
One of the things that is so prevalent among some churches is that they have a wonderful facility. They use it to their best ability. They have worship on Sunday, and they might have some other meetings during the week. But often it sits empty.
Right.
And so one of the things that we love to do is sit down with the church and just give them an idea of ways they could connect in the community. Okay. One church, Church on the Hill. Okay.
Yeah.
They started a mentoring program, and they actually got an award from the community for how much they had done in mentoring kids in school.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And so it's just amazing to
Public
see.
school.
I sometimes like to talk to, we're bridgers, but once we bridge something,
Yeah.
we've planted a seed, and that seed just begins to grow
Yeah.
and multiply and bear fruit that eventually, we used to call Salem Leadership Foundation the invisible part of Salem.
Yeah.
It's there, it's doing a lot of things, but nobody really sees it.
Yeah.
But what they do see is the fruit from it. They see the
Yes.
connections that have
Yeah.
happened and
Yeah.
all the things that have taken place.
So when you say entities, you're talking like nonprofits plus businesses plus government agencies like a school.
Schools.
So all across the board,
Yes.
connecting different
Yes.
things throughout
Yes.
the city, and churches.
And churches.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
However,
That's
we
amazing.
can, and it's all a God thing because he does the connecting.
Yeah.
We just go where he says to go, and
Right.
often that going just involves somebody in the community
Yeah.
saying, "Have you gone to this meeting before?"
Yeah.
And when they were doing when Community Action was doing the 10-year plan to end homelessness, okay, somebody just said to me, "You should go to that meeting." And so where is it? And they said, it's here. So I said, okay. And so I just went and just walked in and just sat down, and they just welcomed me. Who are you? Where are you from?
Yeah.
And Salem Leadership Foundation has a wonderful reputation in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really
And so when you say I'm from Salem Leadership Foundation, you can see heads kind of nod around the table because they know what we do is we connect people of faith and people of goodwill to impact our community.
do.
Yeah.
That's good.
And so they just welcome me at the table.
Yeah.
So with everything you're saying, it sounds like Salem Leadership Foundation is a faith-based organization. Is that true?
Yes.
And so they're connecting these churches, these faith-based organizations with community action. And that's where we get the CAN, like the
Right.
Community Action
Church
Network.
as neighborhood.
Church as neighborhood, okay.
Yeah.
That's
I
what-
just made something completely up. Community Action Network. No. Church as neighborhood.
You are that too.
Church as neighborhood.
Church as neighborhood.
There is Community Action,
Yeah.
which is Mid-Willamette Valley Community Action
Okay.
Agency.
Okay.
Wow.
And we were good working partners with
Yeah.
them in many different ways.
Yeah.
Actually, it was at one of their meetings that I went to be introduced to the plan to end homelessness.
Yeah,
So
wow.
So how old is Salem Leadership Foundation?
I
When was
think-
that established?
I'm not good with dates, but I think they're like 25 years.
So they've been around for a while.
Yes.
They've been around
Okay.
for a long
Yeah.
time.
And how
Wow.
long have you been serving Salem Leadership Foundation?
I was with him, I think it was over 10 years, so it was like 14 years,
Okay.
something like
Wow.
And you were a lightning rod.
that. That's it.
That's all you did was
That's
a
all I
lightning
did.
rod.
Lightning
so
rod.
you
Yeah.
were a lightning rod is kind of like a regional representative, right?
Correct.
So
Yep.
you connect with all the community leaders or the
So
churches.
in Polk
or-
County?
Right.
In Polk County? Are you
in
assigned
Polk County,
counties
but
or
I
areas?
also anything that had to do with West Salem, Polk County,
Yeah.
I got involved with
Yeah.
that. Even if it was an event that was impacting all of the city of Salem, that's still West Salem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I might get
Yeah.
involved with something along that line.
Right.
Okay. Well, for some of our viewers, they don't know, Herm and I are good friends. We meet every Thursday. We met
Thursday.
this
Yep.
morning. And I so adore just how you represent the faith and community and whatnot. But you also pastored for over 20 years.
Yes.
So your tenure as a pastor versus what you did for Salem Leadership Foundation, what's the difference? How do you find that? Like, what did you like the most? I mean, it's hard to say that if some of your past members are
what
watching.
I really
but-
enjoyed as a pastor, as I really enjoyed getting into the community.
Okay.
Okay. I enjoyed pastoring. I enjoyed shepherding. I enjoyed discipleship. I enjoyed all those things in my pastoral role. And I guess that's one of the things that drew me to Salem Leadership Foundation is the community part. And I
Right.
found out that even though I enjoyed pastoring, I loved working in the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just really, and God really showed me that's really where I'm gifted. That's really where
Yeah.
He has led me to be involved in the community, touch lives in the community, point them in the right direction,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
let God work and do what He can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But now you're
amazing.
past your 30s and 40s. So are you, I understand that you're
And 50s and 60s and 70s.
but so you've recently parted ways with Salem Leadership Foundation.
Yes.
And not because of any weird stuff. You're just
I retired.
He
you
retired.
Hey,
He's been working a long time.
I mean, with that resume,
Yeah.
you deserve to retire
Yeah.
and enjoy life. So,
Yeah.
what are you doing now? Are you golfing? Are you
Hobbies?
vacationing?
Do you have hobbies?
What are you doing?
Let's see. I'm hiking.
Uh-huh.
I enjoy hiking.
This man.
He
can-
loves to
I mean, he hikes.
I enjoy hiking. I have a motorcycle. I enjoy riding motorcycle.
Yep.
As far as other things, I have a good friend who's in prison
Uh-huh.
that we are communicating regularly, and I'm trying to work with him for when he is released, that he has someone that can walk alongside him and help him through
Yeah.
the things that he is
Yeah.
doing.
Very important.
I lead a life group at our church and help coordinate some things for them and the things that they're doing there. And family is a huge part
Yeah,
of
yeah,
our life.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we connect with our kids on a regular basis. We do a family vacation every year.
That's
That's
awesome.
wonderful.
We just did a whole week together in San Francisco.
Yeah, I saw some
Nice.
pictures.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Fun.
And so family's huge for us. So that's
That
another.
sounds like you still connect. You're still connecting.
I love it.
It's just who you are.
Yes.
It's just what God put in you
That's
and
right.
what He raised you up to be, and
Everyone
that's
is,
amazing.
Everyone
That's
has a
amazing.
calling on their life.
Yeah,
An
absolutely.
anointing on their life. And an assignment from God.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I believe that in this last decade or two,
Yeah.
you have really, really walked in that, and-
Right.
which
Yeah.
is incredible because, there's a lot of good things to do. You can pastor, you can evangelize,
Right.
you
Yeah.
can do all of these
Yeah.
things. But if you're supposed to be connecting people in the community and that's your assignment, then it doesn't
Then you do
really
that.
matter, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So you're
Right.
doing what
Yep.
God assigned you, and we're so
Yep.
glad that you've been doing that. Because of you, Herm, and a couple others that were part of SLF, we've been able to connect in the community even more,
Yeah.
and
Good.
we
Yeah.
appreciate
You
learning
connected
about
us
it.
to many people,
Yeah,
and many organizations.
and of course,
so.
we only go for the fancy desserts. That's the only reason we.
Yeah, yeah. I was so disappointed this year. I got COVID the
Oh,
week
missed
of the dessert.
Which just happened to be when we were supposed to tape, and
That's
now-
right,
and we're-
that's right.
The reason we're here today. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we want to thank you for all you've done in the community. You really are a hero in the community and in
Yeah.
the faith. You really are, and I know how humble you are. But when you look at a resume like I had to read, because there's no way I could memorize all that, you really are a hero. We just love
Yeah.
you and your wife and all that you've done in the community. And we can't wait to see what you do while you're retired, because
Yes.
it's awesome.
Yes.
Well, it is awesome, and we want to give God all the glory.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yes, yes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
He opens the doors, He gives the strength. He gives the guidance.
That's right.
I just appreciate everything he's done in opening those doors for us.
Right.
And it's fun to watch, even though I've been gone from STEM Leadership Foundation. I can watch now things happening and know the seed of where it started.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Well, you've been a great friend to Kristie and I. Thank you so much, and I love getting to hear your perspective on things around the round table every Thursday that we participate in. I appreciate that. And
they have yet to invite me to that.
yeah, well, we're actually bringing that round table to the show. I talked to the guys.
Yeah.
We're just gonna
Oh,
bring
nice.
the round table to the show, and I think it'd be awesome for the community
Yeah,
to
that'd
see
be fun.
Wow, that
what
would
kind
be
of
amazing.
conversations happen around the
it would
round
be,
table.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're out of time today already, but thank
Yeah.
you so much for joining us on the show, Herm.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate
Yes.
all that you've done, like we said, and we look forward to having you back again soon.
Thank you for the invite.
When we
Yes,
come
thank
back,
you.
we've got more Straight Talk for you, and we're going to dive further into our theme or our discussion on triggered. And you know, we're talking about triggers of the past. You know, when you remember things in the past, we've been talking about how it triggers usually a negative emotion, and how we really need to talk about how the Word of God allows healing for those triggers.
Right.
So when we come back, we've got more Straight Talk and Triggered. Don't go away right after these commercial breaks. We'll be right back. Okay. So when they see a spider, oh my gosh, the world is coming to an end, okay? And it freaks me out. I'm like, honey, I thought someone was going to kill you.
A scream is a cry for help.
Listen,
Come
listen.
get this hairy, furry spider out of the corner.
Listen, it triggers something in me that I just can't handle.
When I'm listening to a customer, my number one priority is to listen.
In every moment that I'm with this customer or this client, am I doing everything that I can to look out for their best interest at the end of the day?
Just make sure they have plenty of options and they're happy with the choice that they make. It doesn't matter what we want, everything that they want is what we want to make happen.
At the end of the day, we do a walkthrough, communicate with the customer, make sure they're completely happy with what they've spent their hard-earned money for.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. We're so glad that you joined us. We had a great show so far, and the guys were dethroned in the game segment.
Girls the guys. We are now the reigning champs.
Well, I don't know about that, but anyway. Hey, we've got a great discussion coming up now. We're going to be talking about triggers. This series is called Triggers, and it's all about you know, just how the past can kind of enslave you. So we want to talk a little bit more about that. So guess what time it is?
It's time to talk.
It's time to talk. Here we go. All right, so we're talking about triggers. We started the discussion last week, and it's kind of how our past kind of keeps us enslaved to past hurt, past emotion, past pain. And I also kind of described it and defined it. In the professional world, triggers are also considered like mental health. They're called mental health triggers or psychological triggers, and you know, just things that kind of spark a memory. And could be an object, it could be a smell, it could be but whatever it is,
whatever.
And these emotional triggers, they kind of trigger a negative emotion, right? A negative emotion,
right? Yeah, oftentimes it's like a moment in time, something happened, and that if something similar, or like if the item, the word, the place, whatever, triggers that memory in a person, and then they kind of act out of that.
Right.
Oftentimes it's fear, withdrawing. Sometimes people withdraw when that trigger is flipped. They get angry, they get sad, they get emotional. So.
And
triggers are just things like that.
We mentioned a couple in our own lives.
Right.
For you, it was the pool
The
noodle.
pool noodle. The pool noodle.
And which is crazy because it's going to be 95 degrees out today. We're going to go in the swimming pool, but we're not allowed to have a pool noodle.
No pool noodles. Actually, I don't have a problem with pool noodles now.
Okay, so you've been healed of the pool noodle trigger.
I just haven't bought any pool noodles
No, we
for
haven't
our
bought
pool.
any.
We're a little big for pool noodles.
Yeah, we haven't bought any pool noodles. But that was one of your triggers because of an experience you had around a swimming pool where there were pool noodles, and it just it brought up those memories?
Just brings back the memory. The memory pretty much involved a pool noodle, me going and getting a friend a pool noodle, and a bad altercation happened with his dad who decided to follow me. So it was just a bad thing. So every time I thought about pool noodles when I was younger, it was like that memory would be triggered. So, and then you had a trigger
I had one,
with loud screams.
Yeah, I hate...
All of our children, all of our nieces, nephews, everybody can attest to this
I hate
trigger.
loud screams in my house because I'm always so...
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that just, like, I can't handle pain. Okay, so maybe I can handle the pain myself personally, but if one of my daughters is in pain or my son is in pain,
to see them
it freaks me out. Like when we have to go to the emergency room or the hospital, I need my wife to take care of that because it freaks me out. So anytime I hear a scream, it produces a trigger in me and I can't stand it. So when they see a spider, oh my gosh, the world is coming to an end, okay? And it freaks me out. I'm like, honey, I thought someone was going to kill you.
A scream is a cry for help.
Listen,
Come get this hairy, furry spider out of the corner.
Listen, it triggers something in me that I can't handle. But so that's what we talked about last week. And I wanted to share another trigger with you that I experienced. And we kind of experienced together because years ago, and we've been married for 26 years. Come on, somebody.
Woo-hoo.
26 years.
Yeah.
But in year 7, we had a little rough patch, and it was difficult. We started a church.
Yeah.
So we were brand new pastoring a church. My father was suffering of leukemia.
Yeah.
We had 2 babies in the house, well, a toddler and an infant.
Mm-hmm.
And then what else was going on? It was just
actually, at that year, your father had just passed away.
Okay,
with
okay,
leukemia.
yeah.
So it was just a rough time.
It was a rough season.
You know,
it was a
it's
rough
hard
season.
losing loved ones and then, trying to keep the family, kind of together and provide for one another's emotional needs at that time. There's just a lot going on.
There was a lot going on.
2 toddlers, two young ones.
We weren't making any money. I mean, it was rough.
Jobs were rough.
And so in year 7 of marriage, and I've heard that that's a tough year for a lot of people.
The 7-year itch, right?
We went
Is that
through
the
it.
nickname?
We went through that. So it was a bad time, and there was a perfume that you wore during that season, right? And so when we went through this, that perfume now became a trigger for me. So anytime I smelled that scent, it just brought back all of the challenges that we went through in that time. And it was very, very difficult. Do you remember that?
I do. It just felt, that was one of those seasons where it feels like the circumstances just start stacking. And it feels like none of them mow themselves out or flatten out. And, every couple goes through moments or seasons in their marriage where they grow either further apart or closer together.
Yeah.
And they're very challenging. And, we can be 100% honest and say our marriage definitely was berate during that time frame. It was just a lot to take in and a lot to push through.
And it was hard enough, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was hard enough that, do you remember I actually went to you one day and I said, honey, can you not wear that?
Yeah.
Like I literally asked her.
He asked me to stop wearing it.
Can you not wear that? Because every time you do, it causes a problem. But you were very accommodating. You said, hey, we're working on this together. So you put it away, and we never brought that scent out for a while.
Haven't bought it since then.
But, we had to press on.
Yeah.
And so through that, and through, of course, the counsel of the leadership that we submitted to, and just our church family and our
family,
regular
our
family,
family,
we started to heal and just doing a lot of prayer, and we had to press on, we had to focus on, and we had to forget about that past and look towards the future, which is what the Apostle Paul taught us in the Word that we read yesterday. So that was about 20 years ago now, and here we are today. So praise God, we made it through that. So
we made it over that speed bump.
Yes, it was a big one.
Yeah, and that one thing we talked about yesterday is how you have to be able to look beyond what's right in front of you and see the bigger picture, see the future, see what's ahead. like Paul, the
Right.
Apostle Paul said in his verse. So we just have to look past what we can, I mean, it's so easy to focus on what's right in front of you and not see past it. But every time we focus on it, we sink, kind of like we talked about in our previous series. And we just have to look past and keep
here's
going,
the thing,
pressing
is
forward.
our human minds can't get past human.
Oh.
Like we as people, human beings, we're stuck on human.
Yeah.
And sometimes I like to describe that as stuck on stupid. Like sometimes we're just stuck on stupid. Our human minds tend to creatively write a script for our minds to follow. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you're kind of running in a dark alley. The quicker you get, the more scared you get. Like the darker it gets. Like you think somebody's following you, and your mind starts to create this script for you to.
A picture that's not even there.
Yeah, and we just do. We make stuff up.
That's so true. That's true. And we freak ourselves out more than we need to be freaked out.
Exactly.
I mean, I think some of our problems and some of our circumstances and issues could be mowed over a little bit easier if we wouldn't make them, we blow them up.
We do.
Into something way bigger than what they should be.
Right.
But let's read 2 Corinthians 5:16 through 17.
Okay.
It says, so we have stopped evaluating others from a human point of view. At one time, we thought of Christ merely from a human point of view. Oh, that human point of view.
It's stuck on human.
Yep. How differently we know him now. This means that anyone who belongs to Christ has become a new person. They get off that human thinking. The old life is gone, and a new life has begun. A new way of thinking.
Yeah.
A new way of doing, really.
Yeah. And this scripture just explains everything that we're going through with triggers. You know, triggers are a product of a past experience or revelation. It's whatever happened in the past, you know, whatever experience we had, whatever revelation we had, these triggers are a result of that. So when I'm hammering and I miss the nail and I hit my thumb, that is a past experience that now in the future, every time I go to hammer, I'm freaking out. The hammer's a trigger, the nail is a trigger, my fat thumb is a trigger. It's like, I want to be careful. But
you let go of the nail faster than you should, and it flops out when you're trying to hammer it in.
But it's a product of that past experience where I experienced pain.
That's right.
And we both have gone through some of that in our past, historically speaking, when you know, even before we met. You know, you with the pool noodles, me with some sort of scream that freaked me out one time. But all of those triggers are a result of our past.
Right.
And we're going to take a commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to get deeper into that scripture and talk about Paul and what he teaches us, the Apostle Paul, what he teaches us through that passage we just read. So don't go far. We got more Straight Talk right after this. We'll be right back.
Triggers. We're going to dig a little deeper into this scripture and how he says he gets through.
Well, in verse 16, he says that we have stopped evaluating others from a human point of view. So that was the first thing he had to do. Is stop evaluating people from a human standpoint. Because a lot of times we're judging people based on our own past experiences, and it becomes a trigger itself. Like if somebody looks at us wrong, well, then we don't like that because we know what that means. When somebody looks at us wrong, the last person who looked at me like that, man, we got into a fight or whatever. And we start evaluating people based on our past history of other people, right? And that becomes a trigger in itself. And so he had to stop evaluating people from his own human point of view. Our human minds tend to see things like the worst possible outcome. You know what I mean? Have you ever run into people where you just like, don't even look at me?
I mean, I think we all have. If we're all honest, there's always a person or a place that we've been where somebody's come up and they just immediately rub us wrong. They say something that triggers us. We don't like people bringing that up or
Right.
whatever. So we instantly decide to discount that person or whatever because of the simple phrase. That doesn't necessarily say who the person is. It's one tiny thing.
Right.
So we can't judge a person based on what they triggered in us.
I agree.
We need a new perspective.
We absolutely do. I
Yeah.
think that if we continue to think with our human minds,
Yeah.
we're going to always look for the worst. But
Right.
if you switch that and you think like Jesus thinks, and you switch to thinking with your spiritual mind,
Right.
it does exactly the opposite. It looks for the best. Christ, think about Christ.
Yeah.
If he only thought about the worst of us, we'd
Yeah.
be done already. But he thinks of the best. He wants the best for
Right.
us.
He
And we
knows
have to
there's more.
switch our way of thinking to thinking about the best.
Yeah.
Use our spiritual minds and not our human minds.
Yeah. And once we have a new perspective, we'll have new knowledge.
Yeah.
New knowledge. It says how differently we know him now. That's a new knowledge.
Yeah.
When we dig in and we take on the mind of Christ, we take on the perspective of Christ, because that's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to look at others and treat them as he did us, like you just said. If he would have given up on seeing something more in us, we would have been done a long time ago.
Absolutely.
But when we start thinking like him and taking on that knowledge, then we think about others differently.
But you have to have that perspective.
Yeah.
The new perspective,
Yeah,
right?
right. Thoughts about overcoming fear once you learn how safe it is.
Yeah, so
So,
an example. You have one?
Yeah. No,
Do you
go
have
ahead.
it?
Go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking when you were saying
Yeah.
that, I remember putting on the Oculus for the first
Yeah,
time, right?
yeah.
And we got this Oculus, and there's this one game or one experience
Yes.
called the
Plank.
The plank, yeah.
Plank,
So
yeah.
you take this elevator to all the way to the top
Right.
of this huge skyscraper,
Yeah.
right? And you can feel like you've got this Oculus on, and it feels like you're going up an elevator.
Right,
And
right.
then you have the elevator opens, and you're at the edge of a building, and there's a
creates
plank
a
that goes
complete
out.
experience.
Complete experience.
Yeah.
So the trigger in me, because I'm afraid of heights, as you
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
it's like, oh my gosh, everything I was seeing became a trigger. The birds flying by. I'm like, what in the world?
The
right?
little wisps of wind.
It was
blowing out
crazy.
of the Oculus.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So of course it triggered a fear in me.
yeah.
I didn't even
Yeah.
want to step out.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, is that once you learn,
Yes.
okay, and you have a new perspective, in other words,
Right.
you take those goggles off for just a little bit.
Right.
And you can see that you're actually not on a skyscraper, you're actually in your living room.
Right.
That new perspective gives you knowledge. And the knowledge that I'm actually safe
Right.
allows me to move forward.
Right.
But before that,
Right.
I couldn't even take a step. I mean, but when you learn how safe you are, you begin to act
Right.
differently, right?
Right,
And that's
right.
what we needed, is we need that
It's
new
learning how to
perspective.
push through the fear, because fear's there, right? Fear
Mm-hmm.
will always be around us, but learning how to push fear aside, think with the mind of Christ, and know, hey, you're okay.
You're okay.
I've got
It
you.
is safe.
That experience, actually, the trigger usually happened in the past.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to follow you into the future.
Right.
So we're putting on a new mind, the mind of Christ. We're
Yep.
putting on a new perspective
Yep.
and new knowledge so that we can get past this. Learn how to overcome the fear,
Yeah.
not be stopped or stilted or gain such a terrible opinion of others
Right.
based on an experience, a
Right.
one-moment experience where they triggered something in us.
It's kind of like when I have a different perspective in the ring. Like I'm not a boxer, but we had Phil on the show one time, and he brought us and we
Yes.
put gloves on.
Yes.
And it's funny for men, when you put gloves on your hands, you feel like you can punch anything, like you're invincible, right? And so when you put that
I don't
on,
know about you, but this girl feels like she could punch anything with boxing.
so you
gloves.
felt the same way. You felt the same way. Once you get that perspective, it's
Yeah.
like I've got these
Yeah.
gloves on,
That's
I've got
right.
these pads on, I can fight
It's
the
like
world.
empowerment.
It is.
Empowerment.
And
yeah.
you become that new person, right? I
Right,
had that new me,
right.
so I became a new me, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to
Yeah.
go. Put those gloves on. And
Yeah.
that also happens when I put on a shirt that I call the smedium shirt. Like if I'm wearing a medium, but it's too small, that's called smedium. And it just makes you feel buffer. It makes you feel tighter. It makes you feel like, yeah. And so my friends like to make fun of me. It's like, you're wearing that medium again, huh? Yeah,
A
it makes me
medium.
walk different,
A
right?
medium
You
shirt.
get that new perspective, and it gives you that new me look,
Yeah.
right? And so you get to do different things.
You're like Iron Man.
Exactly.
All buffed out.
Exactly.
The Incredible Hulk.
Exactly. But I don't feel like Iron Man when I've got a baggy shirt on and a pair of sweatpants. I don't feel like Iron Man. But you give me, you know, a medium T-shirt where you can see every bulge of my muscular. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. see, I'm getting triggered right now. I feel like Iron Man right now.
All right,
my gosh.
moving
Okay,
on.
anyway, moving on.
Okay. All right. Well, when the old is gone and the new is here.
Yes, that's what we're looking at.
That's our goal.
Because when we get that new perspective, that new me,
right.
The old is gone.
Right.
The new is here.
Right. The old triggers are gone. The things that learning to overcome like the pool noodle.
Yeah.
Like I have a whole new perspective of pool noodles.
Right.
Now that I've learned not to let that trigger, not to let that thing cause fear or, you know, timidness in me to step out and just be me, or to be me in places or around certain people. So you get a new perspective, you gain new knowledge, and you become a new person, and you're able to move forward easier.
Right.
And the heavenly prize is now your focus.
That's where we need to be.
Yep, and it allows you a better life.
Yeah, so just like that illustration we used yesterday, you can balance a stick on your hand, but when you're looking in front of you and focusing on the challenges, it's very difficult. But when you look to the heavenly prize,
absolutely,
that's when you win. So
beyond.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're out of time already. Can you believe it? We're out of time.
Flying by.
But we want to share with you a few closing thoughts. Paul probably struggled with people.
Yeah.
He probably had some bad experience, so that's why he wrote these scriptures to teach us how to overcome those triggers, how to be healed of those triggers. And I feel like, you know, you and I, we experienced healing from those triggers that we talked about, didn't we?
We did, absolutely. It took some time. It took some pressing through. It kept keep going, keep walking. Even when it hurts, even when it's hard, we just kept doing it. And now we've been healed of a lot of those triggers.
Yeah.
A lot of those things, they don't even affect us.
No,
I think if I could find that scent, you wouldn't even remember.
No, and that's the thing is you've actually worn that scent before, but it doesn't trigger me anymore.
Well, that scent doesn't even create it anymore. But
no, that's what I'm saying. It just doesn't. Did they stop making it?
Yep, they did.
That's too bad.
All for
that's
you.
Too bad because
that
was one of my favorites. But anyway, hey, we're out of time. We're out of time. But thank you so much for joining us. We're going to continue next week and conclude our discussion on triggers.
Yep.
And we hope that you will tune in again with us next week. I hope you enjoyed the show. We're going to go out, though, with more music from Stephanie Foster. So check this out. God bless. We'll see you next week. Have a great week.
Your love grounds me, it satisfies me when the world's in upheaval. There's nothing better and nothing sweeter than to know you and be known. Your love grounds me, it satisfies me when the world's in upheaval. There's nothing better and nothing sweeter than to know you and be known. Let me see through your eyes, that's our prayer, God. Let us see through your